The story of the British cycling team and the power of small steps. In the early 2000s, British cycling was nobody. In over 100 years, they had won just one Olympic gold medal. In the Tour de France, not a single victory. Manufacturers even refused to sell them their bikes, afraid it would tarnish the brand's reputation. Picture the team's locker room back then. Dim lights, a dusty old exercise bike in the corner, saddles that robbed riders raw, faces worn down, almost resigned to the idea that winning was for other people. And then in 2003, a man named Dave Brailsford walked in. Not wearing a superhero cape, no dramatic speech, he simply said, "We're going to search for every possible improvement, even if it's just 1%. His strategy was called the aggregation of marginal gains, the idea that tiny improvements added up over time create unstoppable momentum. And he began, not with world record sprints or million-dollar technology, but with small tweaks most would laugh at. Adjusting each saddle for 2% more comfort, choosing fabrics that shaved fractions of a second in the wind, customizing tire pressure for every rider, teaching the perfect way to wash hands so no one missed training from illness, even finding the right pillows and mattresses for deeper, faster recovery. It seemed almost silly until the results came. 5 years later, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the British team won 60% of all gold medals in cycling. In 2012, in London, they did it again. And between 2012 and 2017, British riders won 5 out of 6 Tour de France titles. Now picture your life as that same bicycle. You want it to carry you to your goals, your dreams, your success. But here's the truth. Most people wait for a revolution, a Monday, a new year, the perfect moment. The reality is, life changes not through sudden explosions of effort, but through small, almost invisible adjustments made today. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that if you improve by just 1% each day, you'll be 37 times better after 1 year. If you get worse by 1% each day, you'll slide almost to zero. Progress is never an accident. It's the result of the systems you build. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And today, we'll break down exactly how to turn this philosophy into reality, not in theory, but in steps you can start using right now. So let's make a deal. You listen closely, because there's no magic here, just proven strategies. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, and you take action, starting with one small step.
Lesson 1. Forget goals. Focus on systems. Most people think success comes from setting bigger goals. I'll run a marathon this year. I'll write a book. I'll start my business. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Winners and losers often have the same goals. Every Olympian wants to win gold. Every candidate wants the job. Every entrepreneur wants a profitable company. If goals alone were enough, we'd all be fit, wealthy, and fluent in 3 languages by now. The real difference lies in the systems, the daily habits and processes that turn vision into reality. James Clear puts it simply. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The problem with goal-only thinking. Goals are about the outcome. Systems are about the process. Imagine 2 people decide to get fit. The first sets a goal. I'll lose 20 pounds. The second builds a system. I'll walk 30 minutes every morning, prepare my meals in advance, and keep my phone out of the bedroom for better sleep. The first might sprint toward their goal with extreme diets or punishing workouts, and maybe they succeed. But the moment the goal is achieved, the system collapses. Old habits creep back. The weight returns. The second never finishes their goal because it's not about a finish line. It's about a lifestyle. Why systems work. When you focus on systems, success becomes a natural byproduct. You remove the pressure of the perfect moment to start, and you make progress even when you're not motivated. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up each day thinking, I must achieve the goal of having clean teeth forever. You just brush. It's part of who you are. The British cycling lesson applied to life. Remember Dave Brailsford and his 1% improvements? That was a system, a relentless search for small advantages. He didn't wake up every day thinking, we must win the Tour de France. He woke up thinking, how can we make the bike 1% faster today? Over time, those systems produced victories that once seemed impossible. Action step for you. Right now, grab a piece of paper. Write down your biggest goal. Under it, list the daily actions that, if done consistently, will make that goal inevitable. Then, forget about the goal. Commit to the actions. If you're writing a book, the system might be 500 words a day. If you're building muscle, it might be lift weights 3 times a week and track protein intake. The magic isn't in setting the goal. It's in making the process so embedded in your life that success becomes unavoidable.
Lesson 2. How identity shapes habits. Most people try to change by focusing on what they want to achieve. I want to run a marathon. I want to read 50 books. I want to quit smoking. James Clear flips the script. True change begins with who you want to become, not what you want to achieve. The problem with outcome-based thinking. When you only focus on the outcome, your motivation lives and dies with your results. If you fail once, you feel like you failed entirely. If progress is slow, you start to doubt yourself. But when you build your habits around identity, every small action becomes proof of who you are. You're not just trying to run, you're becoming a runner. You're not just reading, you're a reader. The 2-step process to change your identity. 1. Decide the type of person you want to be. Not, I want to get fit, but I'm the kind of person who never misses a workout. Not, I want to save money, but I'm the kind of person who lives below my means. 2. Prove it to yourself with small wins. Every habit you repeat is a vote for your identity. You don't need unanimous votes, just enough evidence to make it believable. The British cycling mindset again. When Dave Brailsford started the 1% rule, he wasn't just making cyclists faster, he was turning them into people who believed they were the most prepared, disciplined, and detail-oriented athletes in the world. That belief didn't just help them pedal harder. It made them approach every decision differently, from how they slept to how they washed their hands. Why this matters. Habits driven by identity are stickier. They survive bad days, low motivation, and even temporary setbacks because they're tied to your sense of self. If your identity is, I'm an athlete, you don't stop training just because you're tired. If your identity is, I'm a writer, you still write even when you're uninspired. Action step for you. Right now, write this sentence. I'm the kind of person who blank. Fill in the blank with the identity you want to build. Then ask yourself, what's the smallest habit I can do today that proves it? Remember,
Every action is a vote, and your identity is decided by the votes you cast, not by the goals you set. Lesson 3. Make it obvious. Your habits don't just happen, they are triggered. And if you can't see the trigger, the habit will fade into the background, lost in the noise of your day. James Clear calls this the first law of behavior change. Make the cues obvious. If you want to build a habit, you must put it right in front of your face so your environment works for you instead of against you. Why environment beats willpower. We all like to think we have strong willpower, but here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And your environment is your most powerful system. You can have the best intentions to eat healthy, but if your kitchen counter is loaded with cookies, you'll eat them. You can promise yourself you'll work out, but if your running shoes are buried in the back of the closet, you'll skip it. The simple art of habit stacking. One of the most powerful tools James Clear shares is habit stacking. It works like this. After I, current habit, I will, new habit. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will write one sentence in my journal. After I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. After I take off my work shoes, I will put on my running shoes. The beauty is in the simplicity. You attach the new behavior to something you already do automatically. Make the cues visible. Want to drink more water? Keep a glass next to the sink and a bottle on your desk. Want to play guitar more? Leave it on a stand in the middle of the room instead of in its case. Want to eat more fruit? Put it in a bowl on the counter, not in the back of the fridge. When the cue is visible, the habit becomes hard to ignore. The flip side, make bad cues invisible. Obvious cues work both ways. If you want to break a bad habit, hide the trigger. Keep junk food out of the house. Move distracting apps off your phone's home screen. Put the TV remote in a drawer instead of on the coffee table. Out of sight, out of mind isn't just a saying, it's a strategy. Action step for you. Pick one habit you want to start and one habit you want to stop. For the habit you want to start, make the cue visible and impossible to miss. For the habit you want to stop, remove or hide the cue entirely. If you design your environment well enough, you won't have to fight your brain. Your surroundings will do the work for you. Lesson 4. Make it attractive. If making your habit obvious is the first step, making it attractive is what pulls you toward it. Because let's be honest, no matter how much we say we should do something, we rarely do it unless there's some part of us that wants to. Why the brain loves pleasure. Your brain runs on a reward system. When you anticipate something good, dopamine fires. Not when you get the reward, but when you expect it. That's why a notification ping can be so addictive. The key is to hijack that system for good. If you can associate your habit with something you already enjoy, your brain starts craving the process, not just the result. Temptation bundling. James Clear calls this temptation bundling, pairing something you want to do with something you need to do. It works like this. After I blank habit I need to, I will blank habit I want. Examples. I'll only watch my favorite show while I'm on the treadmill. I'll only drink my fancy coffee after I've written 500 words. I'll only check Instagram after I've finished my reading for the day. You train your brain to see the need habit as the price of admission for the want habit. Surround yourself with the right people. Humans are social creatures. We tend to copy the habits of the people we admire, respect, or want to be like. If you spend time with people who go to the gym regularly, you'll be more likely to go. If your friends are into cooking healthy meals, you'll eat better almost without trying.
So, if you want to run more, join a running club. If you want to read more, hang out with people who talk about books. Your environment includes people too. Make the hard habits fun. We don't stick to habits that feel like punishment, but you can turn even a boring habit into something you look forward to. Listen to an audiobook while cleaning the house. Turn cooking into a challenge to create new recipes. Track your workouts like a game, aiming to level up each week. The more enjoyable the process, the less willpower you need. Action step for you. Take one habit you've been struggling to start. Pair it with something you love, temptation bundling. Make the habit feel like a game, or link it to a community where people are already doing it. When you make it attractive, your brain will stop fighting you and start working with you.
Lesson 5. Make it easy. Here's the truth. If a habit feels like a chore, you won't do it, at least not for long. The human brain is wired for efficiency, and it will always choose the path of least resistance. If you want a habit to stick, you need to make that path point toward the thing you want to do. Reduce friction. Every habit has a certain amount of activation energy. The more steps it takes to start, the less likely you are to follow through. Want to start exercising? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Want to read more? Keep a book next to your bed or on your desk. Want to eat healthier? Keep cut fruit and vegetables at eye level in the fridge. The key is to remove any extra steps between you and the habit you're trying to form, and to add extra steps to the bad habits you're trying to break. The 2-minute rule. James Clear's 2-minute rule is genius in its simplicity. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. You're not committing to running a marathon today. You're committing to putting on your running shoes. You're not committing to reading an entire book. You're committing to opening it and reading one page. This works because once you start, momentum takes over. That first small action is like tipping the first domino. Prime your environment. Design your surroundings so the good habits are the easiest option. Keep a water bottle on your desk to drink more water. Put your guitar on a stand in the middle of the room if you want to practice daily. Keep your phone in another room while working to avoid distraction. Environment design beats motivation every time. Automate when possible. Some habits can be taken out of your hands completely. Set up automatic transfers to your savings account. Use a meal prep service for healthy eating. Schedule recurring reminders for important tasks. Automation turns discipline into default. Action step for you. Pick one habit you've been procrastinating on. Make it so simple it can be done in 2 minutes or less. Set up your environment so the habit is obvious and effortless. Remove as many barriers as you can. You'll find that when a habit is easy, you don't need to force yourself to do it. It happens almost on autopilot.
Lesson 6. Make it satisfying. If habits are seeds, then satisfaction is the sunlight. Without a reward, even the best intentions will wither away. Our brains are wired to repeat actions that feel good and to avoid actions that don't. The more you connect a habit with positive emotions, the more likely it is to stick. The immediate reward problem. Most good habits have delayed rewards. You don't get a six-pack after one workout. You don't get rich after 1 month of saving. That's why they're hard to keep. Your brain craves something now. Bad habits, on the other hand, often have instant gratification. Eating junk food tastes good right away. Scrolling social media gives you a quick hit of dopamine, but the cost comes later. To flip the script, you need to make good habits rewarding in the short term, not just the long term. Create instant satisfaction. Find ways to pair your habit with something enjoyable.
Listen to your favorite podcast only when you go for a walk. Drink a special tea only while you write in your journal. Track your progress visually. Check marks on a calendar, habit tracking apps, or even a simple notebook. That little hit of achievement will make your brain crave the habit. The don't break the chain method. Jerry Seinfeld had a simple productivity rule. Write every day and mark an X on the calendar for each day you do it. Over time, the chain grows longer. The goal becomes simple. Don't break the chain. This works because it makes progress visible and satisfying. Your brain gets hooked on the streak, and breaking it feels like losing something valuable. Reward the process, not just the outcome. If you only celebrate the end result, you're telling your brain that the habit isn't worth it until you win. Instead, reward yourself for showing up, for doing the work, for sticking with it, even if the results haven't arrived yet. Action step for you. Pick one habit you're building and find a way to make it satisfying immediately. Add a visual tracker. Pair it with something enjoyable. Celebrate small wins daily. Because in the end, you won't stick with what doesn't feel rewarding. Make the habit itself the win, and the results will take care of themselves.
Lesson 7. The Goldilocks Rule. Ever notice how a game becomes boring if it's too easy, but frustrating if it's too hard? The same is true for habits. The Goldilocks Rule says we stay most motivated when the challenge is just right. Not too easy, not too difficult. Why this matters for habits? If a habit feels effortless, your brain will check out. If it feels overwhelming, you'll avoid it. The sweet spot is when the task pushes you slightly beyond your comfort zone. For example, if you're learning guitar, practice songs that are just a bit harder than what you can already play. If you're running, aim for a pace or distance that's challenging but not exhausting. This balance keeps you engaged and growing. The science of flow. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied what he called flow, the state where you're so absorbed in an activity that you lose track of time. Flow happens when your skills match the challenge in front of you. Too little challenge, and you're bored. Too much, and you're anxious. Just right? You're in the zone. Habits thrive in that zone. Practical ways to apply it. 1. Adjust the difficulty. If your habit feels like a chore, make it easier until it's doable. If it feels stale, make it harder until it's exciting again. 2. Track progress. Seeing improvement fuels motivation. Use a journal, an app, or even short videos to track how far you've come. 3. Mix in small wins. Give yourself achievable milestones that keep the momentum going. The long-term benefit. The Goldilocks Rule doesn't just keep habits alive, it accelerates growth. Over time, you'll push the just right zone higher and higher. That's how athletes, musicians, and creators keep improving year after year without burning out. Action step for you. Look at one habit you're building. Ask yourself, is this too easy, too hard, or just right? If it's off balance, what's one small tweak that could bring it back into the sweet spot? Because the secret to lasting habits isn't just starting strong. It's staying in that perfect zone where the challenge keeps you coming back for more.